Hi, welcome to Books and Bocadillos. My name is Maria Andrea, and I am continuing my Holiday Hangover series. This is part 3, and in this video, this is the long run. These are the books that are on my long run, on my to-do or to-be-read list, but in the long term. In the last video I recorded, I talked about the sprint, the short-term books I'm hoping to get to in the month of February. So I am going to share with you just some lists that I have that are helping to guide my reading choices. So I want to start off, before I forget, with the Read What You Own challenge. So that's still going on. I think I haven't counted recently, but I think I might be at maybe 12 of the 41 books read, more or less. I have to tally that up. But I'm more or less between 10 to 15. I think I'm like 12 books out of the 41 that I had set a goal for. I really would like to push myself because I would like to be done with this challenge ideally by April, but I don't think it's going to happen by April. Hopefully by May, because May is my birthday month and I like book shopping. I have purchased books. I'm not going to hide that. I have purchased books, but the books that I've purchased have been either for book club books, book club reads, buddy reads, or special book projects that I'm working on. So I haven't done any book spending for fun that have just been like, oh, let me just walk into a store and take books. I did have a trip in December that I had already planned, and I had already kind of set aside that I was going to do some book shopping just for fun. But ever since then, that's been the only bookstore adventure that I've just been more carefree with and not so intentional or not so rigid in terms of discerning can I or can't I. But anyway, so the Read What You Own challenge that's still going on, I'm going to be reading mostly books that I've already owned since before November of 2023. With the exception of buddy reads, I'm probably going to be checking some books out from the library for some book clubs and buddy reads. Next is my authors A to Z. I created a list for myself because there are certain authors that for me are either auto-buy authors or they're authors that I really want to be completist with, and I want to read more of their backlist or their collection. And I feel like I needed to have that, like have a visual reminder, like these are the books, these are the authors that I'm wanting to prioritize, wanting to get to. So what I did was I created myself an A to Z list. And in this list, I will be going through the authors. My intention is to start with A and read a book by that author, cross that out, then go to B and read a book by that author, cross it out, and then go to C. It may take me more than a year, and that's okay. As long as it takes me, I will get to this A through Z list. And then once I get to Z, I'll just start over and refresh my list. So maybe if there was an author that I've already completed their backlist and I don't need to read anything else from them, then I can replace that with another author that fits that letter. So I'll go through and share. I have it on my Notion app on my phone. I'll share the list of authors and I'm just kind of going to talk through them as quickly as possible. If I go too fast and you have a question or you have a comment or I didn't say something that maybe I should have said, I don't know, that word needs to get out of my vocabulary. But if I say something and I'm not really fully explaining myself well, then just let me know in the comments and I'd be happy to continue the conversation if there was something I missed. So here we go. This is going to be a little bit of a of a quick run through. A. Hana Alkaf. Quick. Okay. No, I read The Girl and the Ghost. It's a middle grade and loved it. Love The Girl and the Ghost. It's like a middle grade horror. It's so great. It has mythology, folklore, really, really great read. If you are into middle grade books and you like a little bit of horror, a little bit of fantasy, more horror, I think, than fantasy. It's more folklore. Um, I think that's a really good book. So I loved her writing. I loved that book, and I decided I wanted to continue to read her book. So I I read that a couple of years ago, and then I picked up her next the next book that she had published, which I think is a YA book. I don't have it with me, but I have it on my shelves. Want to get to it finally. B is for Octavia Butler. I have Kindred and I have Bloodchild. Bloodchild I've been reading for a while. That collection of short stories. I haven't finished it, so I have that, and I do have Kindred that I've been really, really wanting to read since last year, and I have not touched it. Um, C. Willa Cather. I think Melinda and I had talked about reading Death to the Archbishop this year. So Melinda from Web Stories. Melinda, if you're still interested, let me know. If there's a buddy read that needs to like bypass my list, I can always do that. But my intention is to go A, B, C, and start B after I finish A. Okay. Also, a side note, Willa Cather, I love my Antonia. It's one of my all-time favorite novels. D. Fyodor Dostoevsky. And Fyodor Dostoevsky is an author on the 1,000 Books to Read Before You Die list that I'll be talking about in just a little bit. So I have that to get to. Louise Erdrich. I have a couple of Louise Erdrich's books on my shelves, and I need to get to her. F. Gillian Flynn. Gone Girl. After I read Rebecca in the fall, I decided I really wanted to read Gone Girl. So I checked it up in my library, didn't get to it. I might check it out again. G. Xochitl Gonzalez. Xochitl Gonzalez. I think I have one of her books on my shelf. I can't remember which one. H. Patricia Highsmith. Patricia Highsmith, never read anything by her, and I really want to read her books. She is also an author on the 1,000 Books to Read Before You Die list. I. Kazuo Ishiguro. I think I have one of their books on my Kindle. Maybe started it, didn't finish. J. James Joyce. I would like to read Ulysses this year. I am following the podcast, the Friends of Shakespeare podcast, and I started listening to it, but I need to get a copy of Ulysses, and I haven't found a used copy. So James Joyce is one of the 1,000 Books to Read Before You Die. I'm hoping to get started on Ulysses sometime this year. K. Nicole Kornher-Stace. I really like Nicole Kornher-Stace. I have read a short story that was featured on LeVar Burton Reads, and I loved it. After that, I put it on a wish list, and there was a book exchange online, and the person who got me sent me two of Nicole Kornher-Stace's books, Firebreak, which is a novel, and The Archivist Wasp. Firebreak, I don't have here, but The Archivist Wasp I have right here. So I want to read Nicole Kornher-Stace. L. Lois Lowry. Lois Lowry. Lois Lowry is a book that an author that I didn't get to experience as a middle grade reader, but I really want to read Lois Lowry's books. They're also banned, so that is going to be part of my banned books reading list. And I hope to read The Giver in March for middle grade March. M. Toni Morrison. So I've been on like a spin of Toni Morrison. Every year I read at least one Toni Morrison. Last year was Beloved, and this year I am thinking the next book I have that's on my shelves is Tar Baby. Tar Baby. I had intended to read that with the Stacks podcast. I'm a Patreon of the Stacks podcast, but I didn't get to read it along with them. But I really do want to read it. And Amelie Nothomb. I have Amelie Nothomb. I have one Amelie Nothomb book in my Kindle, so I'm wanting to get to that. Oh, Maggie O'Farrell. She's a great writer. I love all of her work. I read Hamnet. I have The Vanishing Act of Esme Lennox. Did I get that right? You know which one I'm talking about? The Vanishing Act of Esme, I think. So that's on my shelves, and that's what I probably will read next from Maggie O'Farrell. P. Sylvia Plath. I love Sylvia Plath. I was a Sylvia Plath enthusiast in high school. She is on my list of easily top 10, top 20 authors. I want to revisit her work. I have a collection of, I think, a novella from her that I have on my shelves. And I have a poetry collection from her that I want to read. I'm also interested in that nonfiction biography, Red Comet. I really would like to read that. Q, the Qur'an. The Qur'an is on my 100 books to read, that poster that my cousin got me. So I want to read the Qur'an. R, okay, I need ideas. If you have an author whose last name ends with R and you think I need to read them because they, especially if they have a banned book or they're like a classic author, I could not. I mean, I have several options here. I have Roy, Roth, Reichel, Robinson, Rushdie. Who do I go with? Please, please, please help me with the letter R. S, Stacy Schiff. I like Stacy Schiff's works. I read Cleopatra a couple years ago. I really want to read the one about the witches, the Salem witch trials, I think. It's a nonfiction book. T, Josephine Tey, mystery. I really want to read Josephine Tey. Never read her. Okay, another one I need help with. You. If you know an author whose last name ends with the letter U, John Updike, I don't know. If you have a book recommendation for me with an author that's whose last name starts with the letter U, please put it down in the comments. V, Nicole. And W, Edith Wharton. I have Edith Wharton books on my shelf I need to read. X, Malcolm X. Y, Banana Yoshimoto. I have a couple of Banana Yoshimoto books I need to get to. And Z. This one I knew I needed to fix. It was The Book Thief. Zusak? Yeah, I think it's Zusak. The Book Thief. And they have another one that I also have on my shelf that I need to read. So those are my authors A to Z. Okay, I'm doing okay with time. So then next, I talked about banned books. So 24 and 24, MJ from Reading This Live at Reading This Live is hosting this booktube challenge, and it's a year-round challenge. It's read 24 banned books in a year. I signed up. I said, yes, I'll do it. I'm interested, and I hope I get to 24. I'm going to do my very best. I'm going to try to read as many banned books as I can. I'm kind of doubting that I'm going to get to 24, but I'm going to try. The 1,000 books to read before you die. I already mentioned I'm doing Les Miserables with Melinda at a Web Stories in her Discord. She has a channel in her Discord, and we're reading Les Mis one chapter a day. I'm actually taking it on a weekly, so I'm going at a whole week's worth of 7 chapters a week. And then Ulysses by James Joyce. I haven't started yet, but I would like to. And then I have a list that I created for myself. Let's see. Bear with me. Here we go. Okay. So I have the 1,000 books to read before you die. These are the ones that I own. I just have one here that I haven't figured out. So these are the books that I own that are on the 1000 books to read before you die list. Kindred by Octavia Butler. Bleak House by Charles Dickens. The Story of My Teeth by Valeria Luiselli. Dune by Frank Herbert. Walden by Henry David Thoreau. Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Can't We Talk About Something More Pleasant by Ross Chast. The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. A Streetcar Named Desire by Tennessee Williams. The Poetics of Space by Gaston Bachelard. The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skloot. The Hours by Michael Cunningham. Middlemarch, I'm in the middle of, by George Eliot. Are You Somebody by Nuala O'Phelan. West with the Night by Beryl Markham. Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee by Dee Brown. Catch 22 by Joseph Heller. Fairy Tales by Hans Christian Andersen. The Famished Road by Ben Okri. The Uncommon Reader by Alan Bennett. White Teeth by Zadie Smith. The House of Spirits by Isabel Allende. So hopefully I will be able to color in these blocks as I read them. We'll see. Let me know if you've read any of these. I'm in the middle of Middlemarch. I've already started Can't We Talk About Something More Pleasant by Ross Chast. And I have The Haunting of Hill House possibly as a read for my Filmtastic February reading challenge. I've already started A Streetcar Named Desire. I haven't finished it. So let me know if there's any others that you highly recommend or you are excited for me to get to. So in 2023, the 1000 books to read before you die that I read Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret by Judy Blume, Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll, Persuasion by Jane Austen, Rebecca by Daphne DuMaurier, The Story of the Lost Child by Elena Ferrante, and From the Nixa Files of Mrs. Basil Frankweiler by E.L. Konigsberg. Okay, so that's the 1000 books to read before you die. The next couple of like fun, just they're fun activities for me just to, you know, be motivated or just help guide my choices because I am a mood reader and sometimes I need little things to help me make a decision about what to read next. I have the whole color thing I told you about in the previous video where every month I'm kind of feeling what is my color my color vibe for the month, and in the month of January it was like a deep wine burgundy color and it matched the spine of the 10,000 Doors of January. For February, as the month is coming to an end and I'm starting to get closer to February, I think I'm feeling like pink. So I'm gonna look for a pink book to read. I have a couple of options. I'm trying to decide which one to go with. And so I'm going to write down as I go what my color vibe is. Sorry, I'm trying to not sneeze in front of the camera. And then another fun little prompt that I've given myself for the year. I was inspired by the 10,000 Doors of January, and my word for 2024 is door. So I am going to read books that either have a door on the cover or have the word door on the cover. So in January, I read The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex Harrow. In February, I have a couple of options. Should I tell you? Maybe I should tell you. So these are my options. Halsey Street by Naima Coster. I really like Naima Coster. Halsey Street has been on my Kindle for a really, really long time. So that would help with reading something off my Kindle, like trying to clear my queue on my Kindle. So Halsey Street has a door. It has an apartment, like a what's it called? Like an apartment building, brownstone. And there's a door on the cover. So that seems to fit. The other one is also on my Kindle. Just gonna click door. Okay, sorry, trying to hurry. Don't mind me. Here we go. I hope it opens up to the cover. There's a book called The Art of White Roses. I'm pulling it up on my Kindle app on my phone. The Art of White Roses. On the cover, there's a blue building and a brown door, and it looks like a child or a woman going through the door. Okay. Can you see that? So, yeah. That's an option. 2017 winner, won an award. Caribbean Young Adult Literature by Viviana Prado Nunez. So it's between one of those two, either Halsey Street or The Art of White Roses. We'll see. If you have any suggestions or you have opinions, let me know in the comments. And that's it, I think. I mean, I'm trying to be chill. I'm trying to be chill. I'm trying to have fun. None of these things are supposed to be stressful or put a lot of pressure. They're just things to guide my choices. And sometimes when I have so many options, especially on my Kindle, I think I have more books unread on my Kindle than I do on my physical shelves. I don't own a lot of books. I mean, I do have a lot of books, more than maybe an average person, but I don't own a library full of books. So the physical TBR doesn't feel as daunting to me as my Kindle. So definitely reading off my Kindle is a good thing. And if I set these prompts that are supposed to be fun and, like help me narrow down my choices, I'm happy to have little things to support my decision making and my decision fatigue potential. So that's it. That's the future. I think I'm cut up here on BookTube. Hopefully the next videos that I make, I'll be not rushing and just have more time to talk about books and actually talk about like how those books make me feel, and my thoughts on them. I hope that you've enjoyed this series. I hope it hasn't felt too pointless. I just wanted to feel like I've caught up in the conversation with all of my BookTube friends, people who I follow, people in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your interest and your kindness and your friendship. I really appreciate it. Hasta la próxima.